Big Willie, see you away. Howdy, partner.
Get to pulling up a seat and I'll tell a little story about the brothers Ross and their fortune and glory. It was only 2 years that set them apart, and it didn't take long for their trouble to start.
Okay.
Mama did her best to raise her boys up right. 2 jobs in the day, a lot of praying at night.
Amen.
Raised in the backwoods way down south, when you could still use soap to wash out a dirty mouth. They didn't have much but each other and a dream
To have fun and get rich.
do it as a team. Mick was the older one, chiseled and smart, smooth with the ladies, and he had a good heart. Mac was the black sheep, stubborn and funny, liked to stir the pot, fist fighting and money. But they swore up and down that they'd never fight each other, and that's where the story started for the Ross brothers.
Pulling up a seat and I'll tell a little story about the brothers Ross and their fortune and glory. Get to pulling up a seat and I'll tell a little story about the brothers Ross and their fortune and glory.
Years were flying by, they were growing up quick. Poor mama passed away after she got sick. But Mac liked trouble, led a life of crime, and Mick became the best lawman of all time. Mac was good at stealing more banks and more cocky, liked to open vaults, used a gun to unlock it. Piling up the cash, one heist to another. He didn't even care the town sheriff with his brother wouldn't harm anybody taking money and possessions. Mick had to stop him from his lawless obsessions. Mick summoned Sergeant, wanted posters all around. The Ross brothers' tale shaking up the whole town.
Get to pulling up a seat and I'll tell a little story about the brothers Ross and their fortune and glory. Get to pulling up a seat and I'll tell a little story about the brothers Ross and their fortune and glory.
Mick and the Sarge knew that it was going down when they caught Mac slipping on the other side of town. He was checking out the next spot to steal the loot, but Mick rode in, guns raised, ready to shoot. Mac wouldn't give up, it was 2 against 1. Shouted, "Catch me if you can," and he started to run. Grabbed a horse, got to galloping, and started to bail, while he shot at the law that was gaining on his tail. They chased him to the river by the limits of the city. Mac was cornered with an empty gun, what a pity. The boss was so glad to nab his villain at large, but Mick drew down and aimed his pistol at the Sarge. Said,
When we were young, Ross brothers made a pact. He would stack the loot while I was watching his back.
Sarge tried to reason Mac was wanted for theft. Mick said nope, pulled the trigger and they left. Double crossing was the Ross plan, worked no doubt. Stack the loot, stop the law, saddle up and skip out. So they packed up the loot and they headed out west, cause the weather and the weed and the women are the best, and that's the truth.